and Hayes.
Sports Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
Delivers to the shed. Who lines the ball right center field. That's trouble. That pass Hampson off his glove diving and down on the warning track. It's a bases clearing triple.
Yeah, I mean, the homers are nice. We just need to sustain some things and be able to score in other ways as well. Always, that's a better sign than the alternative. Yeah, we just have to get them. We have to get the sequencing right, get them at the right time.
It's not necessarily true for us, I think, sometimes, because like for the tackle position, I think once you get past like pick 35 or 40, most of those guys are gone. So if you're picking in the top 10, it's a great offensive line class. If you're picking in the top 15, it's a great offensive line class. If you're picking 32 and 64, you got a shot maybe here or there. So, what other positions are going to provide top-end value if say, an O-lineman or receiver isn't there? And, do you go corner? Do you go defensive line? I think that there are some interesting pockets there.
He's still physically talented. He's probably more physically talented than Jarrett Stidham right now, who's at least pegged as their starting quarterback. But I still believe that Denver, is a team that I look at and say, they should, if a player like Bo Nix fell in the draft, they should draft Bo Nix.
I think it does give Denver a bit more flexibility in the draft, but the fact of the matter is, if there's a quarterback there that they like, I don't know whether the acquisition of Zach Wilson is going to prevent them.
Yeah, it sucked. So thank you guys for bringing that back up. But it's a new season. I've got more optimism than ever. I'm just really pumped. The draft is this weekend. I'm going to be in Detroit. So we're just so, I just like to put this out there. New York Jets, if you need somebody Friday night to make your pick publicly, just let me know. I'll be there.
Well, I think the most impressive thing was to see her respond on that third throw. I mean, she had a great series, but on that third throw, she was, I think, 11th going into there. And it was nice to see her throw it out there, get a little PR, but also, more importantly, make it the finals.
And welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KBGB 95.5 FM. Talk of the Town. Welcome in. It's a Tuesday Sports Day show. Steve Webster with you today, along with Mike Corson, Aaron Clark, who's still trying to get his color back after sleeping over the entire weekend, and Mike Hesher, who is running the controls today at Sports Day Central. On the program today, no, that's tomorrow's show. Okay. I'm already going to preview tomorrow's show. It's all ready to go. Okay, on the show, we're going to talk to Cole Reif today about everything else besides Barton basketball and Hoiston Cardinal football today. Carson DeBose will come in for Barton softball. They picked up a couple of wins yesterday at home against Otero. And then Mike Corson, of course, goes on the prowl. Sorry, they're thrown off. We don't do it for one time. So who you got today?
Swim coach Courtney Wilson.
Okay, all right, very good. There you go. Okay, Mike Corson's coming in here today, and he's just not smiling. Not that he really smiles a lot, but when he does, he's got grit and grime in his teeth. Mike Corson does a lot of different things for us around here, covering breaking news today. This one was kind of scary. Russell activity bus heading to Liberal for a baseball game gets involved in an accident on Boyd Road today.
Yeah, fortunately, I think been a report of 3 minor injuries, but given the conditions, okay, it's blowing dirt out there. How bad can it be? No, it was like silt. So, yeah, they come across 281, and there's a little maybe chain reaction accident, evidently low speeds. So no injuries, fortunately, because when it came out, it was maybe some kids trapped, maybe a rollover, but none of that. Just not a fender bender per se, but something minor and unfortunate. But yeah, kudos to law enforcement and the county guys out there working, because they had on their gas masks, and I'm guessing it took a little while to get to that point, thinking they don't need them, and they need them.
Somebody's field was blowing, huh?
Yeah, it was blowing, but the heavy stuff, as it turns out, keeps going, and the silt stuff just kind of meanders around and collects on everything.
Including your teeth and your camera, and you got a ride out there, too. Darren Williams?
I did.
Did you get an interview with Darren while you were going out there?
He was busy. He's a working man.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you were out there. You can see those photos on GreatBendPost.com. So good work, Mike, getting that up there for the Post today. Okay, let's run down sounds the past 24 hours or so. The call on SN 590 in Toronto, Bo Bichette tripling to right center. That came in the top of the third inning. Royals go on and fall behind 3-0 before picking up a pair of runs in the sixth to make it 5-2. Kansas City would muster one run in the final inning. They lose by the score of 5-3. So the Royals now lost 3 straight at home after winning their previous 9 at Kauffman Stadium. Royals manager Matt Quatrero, homers are nice, but they need to string some hits together, make them more timely. They did get a home run last night. The Royals currently tied for third in the majors in home runs with 28, along with the Dodgers and Brewers. Boston second in the league at 29 behind the Orioles, who have hit 35. By the way, the Royals are sixth in the major leagues in ERA at 3.26. Dr. Doom coming to me this morning, and his comment was, man, I can feel a 10-game losing streak coming on here.
It's called conditioning.
Okay.
We have been conditioned that the Royals will turn a 3-game losing streak into a 9 or 10-game losing streak.
The almost catch last night that proved to be a crucial part of the game. It's like that insurance commercial with the dollar. No, you almost got it.
Quicker than that.
He just got it with a piece of his glove, but it would have been a sensational diving catch.
What inning was that, and who was it?
I don't know. It was
That was
early.
Hampson. Hampson missed it, and that was
Hampson. Okay.
that was the 2-run inning, I believe, as well, wasn't it? Or was that that was the 3-run triple?
Yeah, I think it was.
I
a
think that was the
three-run.
call I thought that was the call we had on there. Yeah. It was the Hampson just barely missing it.
You guys can tell who has Cox and who doesn't.
DirecTV also has Bally Sports,
Well, good. Okay.
but I don't remember the names or who did what. I just know he almost caught it.
The dog wouldn't have stopped to take a crap. He would have caught the rabbit.
So it was a good hit.
That's Mike Hesher. We should have saved that for Sounds the past 24 hours or so. Okay, so the Royals dropped the game tonight. They've still got 3 more against Toronto. Solid baseball team. So we'll have game 2 starting at 6 tonight on KVGB. Chiefs general manager Brett Veach on how depth at a particular position in the NFL draft doesn't necessarily affect the Chiefs because they're picking at the end of the first and second round. So if you're in the top 10, yeah, it's a strong offensive line class. If you're picking at number 32, maybe not as much. Maybe someone will fall down to you, and that's where you decide on whether maybe you want to move up or not. The NFL draft coming up on Thursday. We'll have it here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM, because it's a deep draft at offensive tackle. Well, okay. By the time 3 or 4 of them are gone, is that the 5th best offensive lineman good enough to be made a first-round pick? I don't know.
This particular class, I would say yes, but in most, probably not. The big thing the Chiefs have going for them is they do have a GM like Brett Veach who's going to be ready to do whatever is best for the team. He's not going to be too ingrained, we need an offensive tackle, we need a wide receiver. He might not be even too ingrained at picking at 32. Maybe they want to move up, maybe they want to move down. Just got to feel confident in what Brett Veach has done and will continue to do for the Chiefs in terms of managing the team.
Well, that's fine, I go along with that. I mean, in Brett Veach we trust, but then I started to look back at our number 1 pick was Felix Anaduke Uzama last year.
Yeah, but
you get. I mean,
after 1 year, George Karlaftis didn't look like a great pick either.
He looked better than Felix. At least he was on the field.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Okay, I mean, he got some action in the Super Bowl actually, and the AFC Championship game. I'm not saying he's a bust, but
you'd like to see more from your first-round pick, absolutely.
I mean, they hit the jackpot on pick 55 last year in the second round with Rashee Rice. I think they got that through a trade. So that was pretty good. Wanya Morris, offensive lineman, we'll see.
He's a developmental guy who.
Another one of those offensive linemen, you come in, it's just hard to step right in and play.
They do. About year 3 or 4 is when I really think the offensive linemen start coming into their own, unless they are just an elite guy like we've seen a couple of other guys coming in the past.
Get in the top 10 pick.
Yeah, exactly. But the guys who you do have to pick at the end of round 1 or maybe on day 2, that you do usually take 3 or 4 years to develop. So hopefully they can find someone worth going for.
Round 4, pick 119 last year was Shamari Connor. Pick 5, in the 5th round, they got B.J. Thompson and Keandre Coburn with the 6th pick. So that was last year. I guess it was good enough because he got a big raise. So I'm not going to say, no, Brett Veach, he didn't, no, they don't deserve it. He got raise. Andy Reid got an extension. And team president Mark Donovan also getting extensions yesterday.
It's well-deserved. Those three men have been pivotal in guiding the Chiefs, not only on the field, but off the field in the right directions, making savvy decisions, both with the Patrick Mahomes contract and then bringing in the right guys to continue to win Lombardi trophies in Kansas City. I'm excited to see what they can do building forward and trying to win that three-peat.
Beach has got one more chance, another Felix #1 pick. I don't know if I can handle that or not. Okay, Dan Orlovsky, ESPN, on the Broncos acquiring Zach Wilson from the Jets. Former first-round pick, the Jets will receive a sixth-round pick in this week's NFL draft from the Broncos, who, in addition to Wilson, will get a seventh-round pick. Jets and Broncos are splitting the $5.5 million Wilson is due this season. So I guess the Broncos aren't moving on from Wilson, right?
That's what I was just more money tied up in a quarterback named Wilson. Just what the Broncos needed.
And one with a sketchy past. You talk about a guy who maybe was more suited for an office job. He's going to get another chance.
Specimen. I mean, and heck, that they didn't give up anything. If you want a little bit of, you have Jarrett Stidham, as your starting quarterback. You can bring in another guy, and then if you have a chance to draft a quarterback who you want, go ahead and go get it.
And I think the big thing is it's not preventing them at all from drafting a quarterback here because Zach Wilson hasn't played well enough on the field to go, no, he's who we're going to hang our hat on. But I also don't think he's like a big enough presence in the locker room. They're like, oh, well, we don't want to bring a young guy around him because if he starts acting up too much, you just, hey, Zach Wilson, you're off the team now. Like, you're corrupting our young buck who's going to be the next, the future of the franchise. We can't have you lingering with him.
I just love this because it's adding to, the limits of what Bronco fans can remember, right? Because that list of quarterbacks is getting bigger all the time since John Elway left, right?
Similar to the Browns situation where they're just going to have name under name. They're going to stop buying new quarterback jerseys and just make their own.
Yeah, it's like trying to remember. I used to know all the Super Bowls until it got up to like Super Bowl 25, and then it got real sketchy after that. So another thing to talk to Cousin Darren about on the houseboat coming up in June. So maybe we'll throw one of us going to probably end up in the water on that trip, I can tell you right now. Adam Schefter saying basically the same thing, that Broncos, they got another Wilson in town. They get a chance to get a quarterback, probably got to go do it. The Royals' Vinny Pasquantino. He was appearing on Intentional Talk on the MLB Network, talking about his love for his hometown New York Jets. Also, letting the Jets know he'll be available Friday night in Detroit. The Royals are playing the Tigers that day. Heck, they play at 12 noon, and then the NFL draft that night. So he wants them to know that, he'll be available on Friday to make their second. And I don't know if they'll get there in time tomorrow because on Thursday they've got an afternoon game, but he'll be there on Friday. That's when they kind of have him come up anyway.
I was going to say, might not be able to announce the second round selection for the Jets, just because that might still be a little, but round 3, I think, Vinny, get him up there, let him read the name card. Oh. Hopefully he'll be able to celebrate a win against the Tigers and then celebrate the next player that the Jets, the prestigious New York Jets, get to add to their roster.
Do you think the Jets said who? Guy gets an 11-game hit streak and he's like, big time.
He is. I mean, you go to Times Square, Vinny Pasquantino's face is on one of those billboards down there flashing on and off. It's pretty cool. Panther track and field coach Lyles Lashley on senior Macy Noctegal making the finals in the javelin competition with a final preliminary throw of 133.1 Friday. That throw proved to be her best for 7th place at the KU Relays. She retains her lead in Class 5A this season and is currently top 10 among all Kansas throwers.
So what's interesting, I believe Hayes was at Abilene that day, and the Hayes girl actually took the lead, so luckily Macy went up and got 133.1.
Were you part of that? Because you were probably on your little tweeter machine and said, look at this, Macy. Look.
I can't have my phone out. I got fat fingers. But it was cool because, the top 9 were making the finals, and she was not in the finals, so she must have known she had a good throw. It's hard to tell from the side. But I wanted her to be in the finals because I needed a photo because I had to shoot video first. And she comes over, and she's happy it's 133.1, but she didn't see the placing, so I was able to break it 7th. What does that mean? Oh, I'm probably in the finals. Sweet. Got 3 more throws.
So, the distance medley. I heard you talking to Lashley about that. Who was on the original record-setting team that didn't get a B on this one because they were holding out for some other events?
Eliana Beckham.
Okay.
So she ran the Open 8th the next day, so they held her, or the day before, so they held her out. So she got erased from the record book because she was cutting 2 seconds off her 800 time.
Okay. That'd be tough.
So yeah, the top time going into that thing statewide was 13:07. Great Bend ran a 12:50, but then some other Kansas teams, I think, ran like 12:37s that day.
Distance medley, but that's not a state event.
No state event, so just kind of one you see at the big events.
I remember when back in my day, the girls had the 4x2 relay because they didn't think they were strong enough to go distances, I guess. So.
Yeah, and there was a 4x2 up there. Some of the relay meets or the big meets, you'll see the 4x2. Our boy Clay Shively is going to be running at Wichita East, I believe, this week.
Who's that?
Wichita Trinity's kids, and they're going to push for the state record in the DMR. They just went number 2 all-time in Kansas in the 4x8, so now they're pushing for something else.
Okay, there you go. Sounds of the past 24 hours or so. You got some interesting tidbits on Hoisington softball.
I don't have them in front of me, but sports in Kansas been giving Barton County some love. So last night, Hoisington playing Ellenwood, so they improved to 13-3. But Jordan Boxberger throws a no-hitter, goes 5 for 5 at the plate with a single, double, 2 triples, and a homer. And then Ellie Crawford threw a one-hitter, and she was also 5 for 5 at the plate with 2 singles, a double, and 2 home runs. So they want to probably play Ellenwood again.
Okay, very good. So, again, the lead story today, Mike Corson heading out into the dust storm to get some great photos of the Russell Activities bus accident.
And I'll throw it out. So there's 3 pictures up on GreatBendPost.com, but get out there and you're thinking, what's zero visibility? No, you couldn't see the bus 30 yards away. You had to wait for some of the stuff to settle for just a second, snap a few pictures, and then it was back in the cloud.
Man.
Got guys out there walking around in it.
Yeah, so because that's a narrow road with deep ditches. You know, Boyd Road, that's not one where you want to leave the roadway. So the bus stayed and looked like on the roadway, but an interesting chain reaction. So.
Yeah, I saw a pickup with some front-end damage. The bus had a little front-end damage. Looked like the front windows were missing. So, yeah, still not quite sure how it happened, but just fortunate it was evidently a low speed, barely any injuries.
You ever see something like that and wonder how it, what took place to make that happen?
Always.
That happened at my house yesterday. So the power went off yesterday morning, right? Okay, so it went off, but then my wife calls me up and said, yeah, this guy was driving down and he forgot to put his I can't remember what she called it because it wasn't what it's supposed to be, and said that they drove through and tore the power line down, which he also broke a power pole that was off right across the street, and also at the same time it put pressure on where my breaker box on the side of the house that has the power coming in was yanked completely off the house. Okay, now that was yanked completely off the house in the middle of my yard, which was still probably about 65 yards from the telephone pole that fell down and was pulled down across the street, thus taking the street light with it, which makes it very dark at that corner. But hats off to the guys from Silverado Electric who came in and they were contracted, I just want this to know, by Wheatland Electric, okay, because somebody comes up, pulls a breaker box off the side of my house.
Wait,
but so we didn't have any electricity.
Yeah.
Everybody else, it was just
like a flash for most of us. You went a while.
Yeah, but those guys hung in there and got it done about 5:30. So
you're like where the power outage started.
Yeah, you were the epicenter.
No, this is after that was already over.
Oh,
but one of those big power poles, it was pulled over into the yard in the other side of the street still about 50 yards from where the power line yanked. I mean, that's a
surprised they
big
didn't snap.
box.
That's why you got to get one of them ringy doorbells and you can see things happen.
I wish I could have seen it. Yeah. So Deb's in the house, and here's a big crash, and the lights go out. She thought somebody had a wreck out there. Anyway, so.
Thank goodness Deb Webb was okay. That's all I know.
Correct. Thank goodness they came over and hooked it back up because I needed to set lineups in fantasy baseball, and I didn't have my phone. I left it down here. All right, coming up, Cole Reif's going to be in on the show today. Also, Carson DeBose, and we're going to be talking Great Bend Panthers swimming, all part of Sports Day here on KVGB.
Need to make a change? Get the latest devices at Next Tech Wireless. Right now, you can get up to $1,000 off a new phone, like the Samsung Galaxy S24 or the iPhone 15. Well, what are you waiting for? Make the switch now. Next Tech Wireless. Home on the range.
Introducing Ag Mechanics at Barton Community College in partnership with Case New Holland Top Tech. Hands-on training in areas like electrical, hydraulics, and diesel engines, with technicians gaining the knowledge and skills needed to start a career with CNH Level 1 training. Join this high-demand field at a CNH dealership in only 9 months. Now enrolling for the fall semester. Learn more at toptech.bartoncccc.edu.
Smart stays on the road. That's why it's in your engine. Cenex Maxtron synthetic diesel engine oils give you the smartest oil for the toughest conditions. These premium oils maintain 80% of their viscosity throughout the drain interval for superior engine performance across extreme temperatures. That horizon looks good with the competition behind you. Cenex Maxtron diesel engine oils. Oil that runs smart.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
He's the voice of Hoisington High School football, the Barton County Cougars, and the king of the tweeter machine. It's Cole Reif on Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Welcome back, Sports Day on 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. Time to talk sports with Cole Reif today. All right. I saw you last week, and I was just coming out on introductory rec league basketball. Watch this. They were actually playing games. These kids are like 4 and 5 years old. And it was certainly an experience, and you were waiting out. They don't let you come in.
Right, they basically rope you off until the previous class comes out.
Yeah, and so there was Cole Reif with your young. Which one was that?
That was Fitz.
Okay,
he's in
Fitz.
there. So I don't know if it's like 5 and 6 year olds or 6 and 7 year olds. I don't know what it is, but
Let me ask about the rules in this youth basketball. In the class that Fitz is in, do they have to dribble?
they're encouraged. It's highly encouraged. so after one person goes like 5 or 6 feet without dribbling, it's, hey, make sure you put the ball on the floor, dribble,
Oh,
dribble. So and then you just go on. Yeah, I've only seen, like, out of all this practices, sometimes Reagan goes and sometimes I don't. But the ones I've gone, so say I've gone to maybe 4 of them. Out of those 4, I've seen maybe 4 actual traveling violations whistled because it was that excessive. Like they may have gone the length of the floor without dribbling.
Oh, that
so.
was totally allowed in the 4 and 5. Yeah, that's really encouraged.
Have you seen that version of basketball? It's like it's in a different country. I don't know what country it is, but it's basically rugby basketball. So you can tackle, you can hold on to people, do whatever you want, and they don't even have to dribble. But you still want to shoot and make points or whatever. But it reminds me of that a little bit, but obviously without the tackling.
And the grandson got a basket.
That's big.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it put their team up 6-2, and they held on to win it 6-4. Even in the last flurry, the other team got like 13 straight offensive rebounds, but they just couldn't get the thing to go. And the reason they're getting all those offensive rebounds is because my grandson was screwing around with 2 of his teammates down. they were acting like they were pulling themselves on their rears across the floor. And the coaches, get down there, you got to help out with a rebound. And these kids just kept missing and missing and missing. And then they hung on to win it. And, of course, once he made the basket, what do you do with that? The game's going on, right? So you run over to the stands, get in the stands, and give Grandpa a high five.
Yeah, celebration time, yeah. You don't make a basket and then not celebrate it. I feel like basketball, and I think it evolves as you get older, but it has the most detailed for a kid to learn. Like soccer, I was telling you yesterday, soccer, I mean, for the most part, I know there's more details as you get older, but at a young age, kick the ball, go that way, into the goal.
Yeah.
Football, even, for the most part, at that age, hand the ball off, run. For basketball, like, okay, you got to dribble. You can't double dribble. You can't travel. You don't want to swarm. Like that. That's just tough. So, yeah, we'll see how basketball goes as the years continue.
Hats off to the
Great Bend Rec. Nice job to all those instructors.
Oh, yeah, and there kids out there. Sadie Spray was coach on. Cassie Elligood was out there, and the chaos is going on, and they're just continuing to ensure them. I said, get your butt out down there and play some defense.
I just need a rebounder. That's what we needed.
Okay, have you ever been – okay, the other time that I went, so they're taking a photo. It's photo day. So they're they're waiting for the guy with the camera a little bit. So, and all these kids, I mean, they're 4 and 5 years old. They're probably, I don't know, there's probably 30 of them down there.
Yeah.
And then, they can't sit still. And then there's like 3 kids that are running around, pushing each other, running behind.
But did you see the full alignment?
Yes.
Like the whole process? Because they bring him in, okay, hey, like say there's 3 rows.
Yeah.
Some of them are going to be sitting on their bottoms. The other ones are going to be kneeling, and the other ones are going to be standing. So you bring in the first line. And so they're sitting. Okay, we got, like, say there's 10 of them in the front row. They're good. They're sitting still. They're ready for the picture. But then more time has to go by. And then the second row comes in. You get them all positioned. You get the kid turned around. This one doesn't want to stand, so he's got to sit now. You move one from the front. You move one to the back. I mean, it's like like you said, it's like a 20-minute process. So you expect a 5-year-old or 6-year-old to sit still. So I'm always like, that's always the fun part when we get the pictures back in whatever packet you purchase or whatever, you get the pictures back. And if you get like 90% of the kids that are looking correctly, like that's a win. That's a win.
Well, Parker was in the second row, so I mean he was one of the 3, and I couldn't take it any longer. This is ridiculous. Grandpa gets out of the stands, walks across the court to where he's at, and said, "Gleason, knock it off." And of course, you know what he does? He crumbles to the floor. He crumbles to the floor, and then I'm judged as I walk back to the stands.
That's the whole.
He's kind of old to have kids, isn't he?
That's the whole mode of fight or flee, of what you got to determine when you approach a kid. Well, I told you that story last summer about the wedding, and then the kid, the ring bearers, and the Dax was just he was about ready to crumble, and so that's the whole. You got to take the right approach. Do you lay down the hammer, or do you play it soft and try to win over their love again? But I don't know.
Yeah, he goes into the
crumbled.
He crumbled mode and just rolled up in a ball. In fact, I think the picture, the team photo, is you can see his feet sticking out behind it because he wouldn't get up anyway. Oh, yeah.
That's why I always like family photos for, like, Easter. Because you get the picture and everyone's smiling, but you know, like, a second before that, like, somebody got pinched or somebody got yelled at to smile correctly. But that picture looks good, gosh darn it.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Again, hats off to the Great Bend Recreation Commission. I had a question for you today.
You want to talk sports?
It's the annual Cole Rife question. I think I asked you this last year. I don't know. Okay. In a development today, the Jayhawk Conference has announced that Cole Rife has now become the conference commissioner. What's your first thing you're going to do as Jayhawk Conference commissioner?
In any sport?
In any sport.
In any sport. Gosh, I don't know. You got to give me some time to prep for these types of questions. These are hard questions. I mean, I'll go with basketball, just the one that I know and the one that we cover. I would still like to see the neutral floor. Sports Arena. I know Trevor was, pro, and Coach Combs was pro. I don't think Alan Clark had much of an issue, and so it's kind of 50-50. I talked to a few of the coaches while we were there. And I don't mind it. It's obviously the short travel. It's a great facility. You're not going to get a facility any better, and as far as the people that operate it. But it's just not a neutral floor. So, I think that's part of the excitement of conference tournament is going out there. And so if you want to say, well, the crowd's going to be down, obviously it hurts the ticket sales, whatever they make from the ticket sales, it's kind of whatever to me. But for the player and even a broadcaster, I just want to be on a bigger stage. And you can say, well, the sports arena is pretty nice, but it's
you play there.
Yeah, you play there in the regular season. It's not a grand venue if you play there every year. So for me, I would just like to see it go to a neutral floor, and I don't need big crowds for those tournaments. The excitement is, how do they explain hosting a national tournament in Wyoming? For the women. So those crowds weren't big. So for me, I don't need the big crowds. I just want to feel like it's on a big stage, and whether it's Hartman or if you can get Coke, if it works out for high school state basketball, those things. So that would be for me. Or years and years ago, I told you I wouldn't mind seeing it on a revolving basis. Mm-hmm. So say Hutchinson hosted this year, or maybe even a 2-year contract, whatever it may be. Barton hosts it 1 year. Now I know you're going to run into issues. I wouldn't even mind, say, if you wanted to host it at the top seed every year. So whoever's the top seed hosts the men's, whoever's the top seed in the women's hosts the women's, or if you want to combine it, say 1 year the men's number 1 seed hosts both the women and the men, whatever it may be. Now I get it. People aren't necessarily going to be overly excited about going out to Independence or Coffeyville, on whatever year it is. So, and you got to think about hotels, you got to think about lodging, food, and things of that nature. But I wouldn't mind that. Get the number 1 seed. Whoever earns the number 1 seed, they get to host the conference tournament.
I can see that. Salina used to get rave reviews, and then it comes back, and now Salina, and hear Connor Nichols say that's one of the worst venues for high school basketball tournaments. It used to be. Wouldn't you like to have it in a place where the Great Bend Convention and Visitors Bureau was in charge of the hospitality?
Oh, yeah.
Make it seem special. That's one of the things.
Yeah, look what they do for KCAC.
Yeah.
Look what they do for Class 2 1A baseball. Yeah, I would love that. And Barton does a phenomenal job with the state basketball tournament as well.
But then you come in, and then as long as it's later like it was, I loved where the tournament was this year, because I think it got out of it was after the state basketball tournament. It was the Region 6 had a chance to stand alone a little bit more than NCAA tournaments going on, obviously. But yeah, okay. Yeah.
Next move I'd probably make would be I wouldn't have complete control over this, but I feel like as a commissioner, I would have a pretty good say. Would be try to expand the tournament to 32. I wouldn't mind seeing it go to 32. Add maybe whatever the logistics of it is, another day, maybe another 2 days to the tournament. Get up to 32. Get rid of all the buys. So even your number 1 seed through number 8 seed will have to play a first round game. And so I don't think you would have to add maybe about another day and a half logistically to pull that off. So I'd like to see 32 teams get in both for the men and the women.
Do you think the national tournament was even as far as the way the rest went? I mean, it helped Barton, and it should. They were the overall number 1 seed. Was it designed like that so they might get a day off?
Yeah, it was big. Yeah, it was big because it was huge. Because they obviously they started on Sunday, so they didn't have to play till Monday. But then they got an automatic bye or a day off the next day. Right. They didn't play till Wednesday, and then they had their only back-to-back was Wednesday, Thursday for the quarters and the semis. So yeah, it was huge. I mean,
and that was set up. That
was set up for the number, and they got the earlier tip times too. So you would play at noon, and then you wouldn't have to play again until later that next evening. So even on the one they did back-to-back, they played at noon on Wednesday, and they played a 5 o'clock game that following Thursday. So they always had the early tip-off time, so the extra couple of hours or whatever it may be to rest.
And you would name Josh Gooch as the assistant.
Yeah, I'm sure he does a phenomenal job. He does a great job over there, yeah.
I see you guys in the same room.
Not overly hospitable.
Cole, thanks a bunch.
You bet.
Yeah, way to coach your kid, man. I mean, he looked like
I couldn't coach. I couldn't do it. I'll be in the stands watching, but that's about as far as I can go. I don't have the patience for that.
Right. Cole Reif with us on Sports Day. Let's see. Coming up next, Carson DeBose. We'll talk some Barton softball coming up. Also on the prowl with Mike Carson talking Great Bend Panther swimming here on the show.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Amy Herrera, Regional Retail Manager for your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time and I've helped many people navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people. I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you how we're committed to serving you in our communities. At Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Marmy Auto Group makes it happen. Central and Western Kansas. Check out our selection of new and pre-owned inventory. Marmy's friendly staff offers top quality service that you've gotten to know over the years. When your existing vehicle needs parts or service, our experienced team will get you back in the game this season. Marmy Chevrolet, GMC, Ford and Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram, parts, service, and body shop. Visit Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street or marmys.net. Marmy's, make it happen.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Welcome back. Sports Day on KVGB. Our show brought to you in part by the Marmy Auto Group. They're located on 10th Street in Great Bend. And in part by Venture Corporation, reminding you to help a neighbor, shop local when you can. Time to talk Barton softball with the head coach of the Lady Cougars, Carson DeBose, who leads the Sluggin' DeBoses, or what it is. It's got to be disappointing when you don't go out and score in double figures. But, boy, bats rolling again yesterday against Otero, 14-6 and 16-8. A lot of extra base hits yesterday.
Yeah. It's fun. Yeah. It's always fun. We play against a lot of really good hitting teams, and when you do that, you have to put big numbers up in order to be successful. So,
has it been an offensive year in the Jayhawk Conference, or it seems like a lot of teams are scoring runs?
Yes. Hitting is definitely up. And I don't know what it is about that. If hitters are just getting better or what, but if it was up to me, we'd just hit all day, every day. It's my favorite. So,
okay, Otero, tell me about the school from Colorado that came in. They played some Jayhawk teams this season, but able to score in every inning but one. So,
oh yeah, they could swing it. They left the yard multiple times. Great program. We kind of set this up. They're actually already done with their conference schedule, and then their tournament isn't until next week or the following.
Okay.
We just wanted to see somebody non-conference to help prepare us for the rest of our conference games, and I knew that they would push us, and really glad they chose to come down to play us.
Yeah, they had 23 hits, 6 home runs.
Yeah, they can hit, no doubt.
Is that a little bit concerning, or?
It's frustrating. Yeah. There's some things we have to, clean up, take care of on that aspect. But, when you push 30 runs in a doubleheader, it helps a little bit.
Yeah. So that was the start of your busy week, and then going back to Friday, went out there and took care of business at Northwest Tech, and
yes, and it got cold real quick. Let me just tell you.
Okay, I didn't even ask about the weather. How was the weather out in Goodland? You know why they call it Ice Station Zebra now, right?
No, but okay. it's when we got there, it was beautiful, nice. The wind was minimal. I was shocked. By that second game, I had my coat on.
Okay.
And by the time we left town, a storm had moved in. They got snow that night.
But you got out of town just in time.
Oh, thank goodness.
So we got that trip out of the way and picked up a couple of big conference wins, and then getting non-conference victories yesterday over Otero, 14-6, and then 16-8. There was some action in the conference yesterday. Colby takes
Seward,
2 from 14-6, and then
14-6,
7-6.
7-6.
So that jumbles things a little bit. Did that help you?
Yes.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
because Seward drops down. They're 18-10 now, and then Colby's 18-8. Yours 18-8. You're 19-9. So right there in the running.
It's a dogfight right now.
Dogfight.
I mean, everybody, we've got to do all the little things right. And I hate that we let it get to that point of basically leaving it up to other teams, because a lot of, our fate depends on how other teams perform. And, it's unfortunate we're in that situation, but we're going to keep fighting.
Okay, so Butler's on top, 26-2. They went to Indian Hills over the weekend and ended up splitting 4 games. Hutchinson, 22-4. We'll talk about them coming up in just. So, what's the difference between if you have an 18 tournament? I mean, what are you looking at? Position? Is there a different? I hate asking this question, okay, because I always hear it. So, well, what are you supposed to say? Who would you rather be facing in the semifinals? In other words, if you're 3, who do you want to be 2? Or would you rather be 4 and take on Butler? I don't know. Or does it matter?
It's just, I'm telling you, once you get to that tournament, everything that has happened in the season is in the past. It is a dogfight. It does not matter who you're playing, because anybody can show up and win. We see it every year. One team always that you least expect comes out with their A game. And so I think, I want to help ourselves out, be the highest seed possible. But also we've got to take care of business regardless of if we're going in 3 or if we're going in 8.
But you do have a point. I mean, you don't play them. You wouldn't play them until the second round. So, let's help ourselves out. And there's a big difference between, with you go down in 6 or 5, 6. No, that'd be 6, 7, and 8, because somebody gets Northwest Texas isn't going to play in the tournament, are they?
No.
Okay. All right. Very good. They're 1-27 and 1-43 right now. Okay. So when you look at Butler, you'll see Hutch this weekend. So how are these two teams different from one another?
They both hit the crap out of the ball.
Okay.
Absolutely. I would say they both have pretty dominant pitching. So really it's just going to come down to keeping the ball in the yard and having clean defense. I mean, obviously we're going to have to put the ball in play and compete in that aspect, but all 3 aspects of the game, pitching, hitting, and defense. I mean, we've got to keep it clean in all 3 aspects, because you can score a bunch of runs, but at the end of the day, if you allow a bunch to score, you're kind of just shooting yourself in the foot. So
we're looking at things down the road a little bit next week. So you get Pratt tomorrow in Pratt, and they got a couple wins yesterday. They beat Northwest Tech, scored 42 runs in a couple of games, but you do need to go down there and just take care of business tomorrow. So, and then Hutchinson. What do you remember about the first
I don't even want to think about it.
Okay. You're not going to break that one down for me?
No.
Okay.
We scored, I don't even know, 7.
You scored, right out of the chute.
Oh, like 7. And again, that amount of runs should win you a ball game. But that's why I always preach foot on the throat. If we can score 20 runs, we're going to, because teams aren't going to quit. They're going to continue to fight back. And if you're up a lot, then it gives you a little bit of wiggle room for any mistakes.
And that's a big game of sophomore day, right?
Right? Yes.
Yeah, so your team should be very motivated and excited to play that game. Hopefully we get the rain stays away, but that's why we have that beautiful turf out there, so you can continue to play, I guess, if you don't want rain. But your team should be fired up for this one.
Oh, yeah. We've got a bunch of family coming into town. We're doing a cookout after. It's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully we take care of business on the field.
Okay, 1-3?
Yes.
Yes, okay, regular
Sorry,
time.
I had to think about.
No, that's okay.
We played at 2-4 yesterday, and it threw my whole day off.
1-3, and then down in Pratt tomorrow. I just want to confirm because do they play in that park still at Lemons Park?
Yes.
Okay, all right. That's the ballpark.
Oh, I know.
Okay. All right, let's check it out. I hit one over in the creek over there back in Little League Baseball. Oh, do you have a bat boy for Saturday? Mike Hesher wants to be your bat boy.
Oh, bring it on.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right, Hesh, there you're out there. I'll be cheering you on, okay? Okay. Wait a second.
Am I on yet?
Yes, you're on.
I have a wisdom tooth pulled on Thursday. I'll let you know if I'm available.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, you can get out there and be bat boy on Saturday. Carson, appreciate it, and get some rest. Get ready to go for Pratt, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'll be good.
All right, Carson DeBose with us talking Barton softball today on Sports Day on 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. Show brought to you in part by the Cougar Booster Club, continuing their efforts to make the Barton Athletic Department the best in the country. And Eller Automotive Repair, their local mechanic, can help behind Great Bend Appliance Furniture and Sleep Source. More Sports Day after.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB Great Bend and 95.5 FM K238CK Hoisington.
Barton Community College enrollment days are back. Registration is now available for all sessions through July 24th. Make the enrollment process fun, fast, and simple. Reserve your spot to get everything set up for the fall semester in just one day. Visit with an academic and financial advisor, enroll in classes, take a tour of campus, and more. Visit enroll.bartonccc.edu to sign up.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
We had a lady that was having some severe back and hip pain, and we worked with her for about 6 to 7 weeks, and we were able to actually restore greater than 80% of her mobility, and we were able to keep her from actually needing that surgery for about 4 years.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. Mike Corson joined today by Lady Panther swim coach Courtney Wilson. Coach, it's been a few weeks since we talked to you. How are things going with the swim team?
We're doing good. The girls are working hard, and we're really starting to see some of the progress that we've been working towards this season.
Yeah, and obviously a big one last week in Salina. So Great Bend opened the season in Salina, had a state qualifier right off the bat. Basically,
Yep.
3 events qualified for state last Friday in Salina. Anything you can pinpoint about the waters in Salina that lead to those good times?
Well, yes, the girls really like that pool. So they were excited to start their season there. And then that has been something like a highlight that they've been looking forward to of when we get to go back to Salina. And so they just really like that facility. And so as much as they like the pool piece of it, I also think part of it is like a mental like boost for them that they know that they can find success there.
And it is so odd. We talked to the girls quite a bit about water conditions last year, but I would think something, even temperature of the water and or the ability to see in the water. Do you know what it is that is so good about the Salina pool?
The girls tell me it's because the gutters are higher.
Interesting.
And which makes it interesting to see them try to get in and out of the pool because it is a struggle. Like our gutters at our pool are like at ground level, but theirs go up. And so it's kind of a hike to get out of the pool for them. But they told me that's why it's so much better.
It's so weird the things that they pick up on and do well. Obviously, senior Emily Hall had pretty much the biggest day, qualifying 2 individual events and a relay. Your girls have been swimming state consideration times quite a bit this season. How nice to see them get that auto state time.
Yes, it was so cool. We've been really close, and every time we're just right there. And then the last week at Salina when they did it, everybody was so excited. Even the girls that weren't swimming for the relay, everybody was just cheering, and just the pride and excitement that everybody had was pretty awesome.
And we've had Emily on various times for various sports. Pretty good little competitor, but big time for her because she's a senior. How happy was she to qualify in 2 individual events? That would be the 100 fly and the 100 backstroke.
She was excited, and in fact, she didn't realize that she had qualified for the backstroke. And so when she got out of the pool, she was real nonchalant about it. We said, "Em, you did it." And she was like, "Wait, what?" And then got excited for it. So she's such a cool girl. She's a fantastic leader. And even though she had one of the best meets, she's still down there cheering for her teammates and picking people up. And, she's just such a cool individual.
So Great Bend comes out the first meet of the season, qualifies the 200-yard medley relay, which I believe they're still pretty highly ranked in Class 5A. This week It was the 200 free relay, so that was Emily Hall, Josephine Mazouk, Meredith Mazouk, and Sydney Krukenberg. What we like about the relays is that's not just one good swimmer, that's 4 good swimmers. What went into that relay picking up a state qualifying time this week or last week?
We really looked at the girls' splits, and what's cool about this team is that they're all really close. So that makes it awesome as a coach to have variety that we can choose from. But it also makes it tough because all the girls work so hard. But really what it comes down to is who has the best split. And last week, that was just the combination that looked the best.
Awesome. We're talking to Lady Panther swim coach Courtney Wilson. And then a couple other ones you're still kind of got the state consideration times on the bubble. Josephine Mazouk in the 50 free. That's one of those races where it comes down to half seconds. And then also Josephine in the 100 free, about a little over a second off of automatic state qualification. Time's getting down towards the end of the season. What does she have to do to cross that boundary into auto qualification?
She's going to have to just keep on what she's doing and just tweak little things. And she's just right there. And so we're just waiting for the conditions to be just perfect for her and hoping that we see that state time sooner rather than later.
And then the other one, Clarice Snap, had a consideration time in the 100 breast. Another one where a few seconds will matter. I know the tech suits can impact all of that. When do you guys break those out, and how much will that help them?
Well, last week was the first time that they wore them, and that kind of goes back to they were so excited to be back at the Salina pool. They were excited to wear their tech suits. We had a couple of really good practices leading up to it, and so I feel like everybody just had the right mindset and they were just ready to roll. I'm not sure if the girls are wearing them today or not. We go to campus today, but I imagine they'll probably start wearing them pretty frequently. We have home on Thursday, and then we'll go to Newton one time next week, which I've heard is a pretty fast pool, and then we go to WAC after that. So I haven't talked to the girls specifically about what meets they'll be wearing them for, but I imagine we'll see them more frequently now that we're trying to get down to those seconds and milliseconds.
Lady Panther swim coach Courtney Wilson, congratulations on all the state qualification times last week, and good luck in campus today.
Thank you.
More sports day after this.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Zach Strite, commercial lender for Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people. I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. At Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Rife, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Sports Day brought to you in part by Advanced Therapy and Sports Medicine. Get your life back. Equity Bank, your hometown sports partner. Visit one of their 5 local area banks in St. John, Larned, Maxville, stjohnequitybank.com. And the American Plains Co-op Bulk Fuel Department, your certified Cenex lubricant dealer in Great Bend. Also, Next Tech Wireless, built by Kansans for Kansas. Steve Webster back with you. Aaron Clark in studio here as we wrap up the program today. Again, go to greatbendpost.com. Yeah, that was kind of scary today with Russell Activity Bus involved in an accident this morning. They were heading to Liberal for a doubleheader today. That was on Northwest 30 Avenue and Northwest 50 Road. That's on Boyd Road. As they came down from Russell, they took the Fuzzy Brewer turnoff or cutoff there. And no injuries reported with that. The dust was horrible out there. Go to greatbendpost.com, and you can see Mike Corson's pictures right there and the latest story on that. Okay, the Chicago Bears having a news conference tomorrow, announcing plans for a state-of-the-art, publicly owned enclosed stadium on the city's museum campus near Lake Michigan. The announcement said the plans also call for additional green and open space with access to the lakefront. The team said last month it was prepared to provide more than $2 billion in funding toward a publicly owned stadium in the city. Statement signaled a shift in focus away from building a new home in the suburbs. Soldier Field has been the Bears' home since 1971. The team's lease runs through 2033. The Bears could be getting a new state-of-the-art.
And that's,
so do you move the suburbs now, or do you move down? Chicago doesn't sound like a very friendly place to me to move downtown in. I don't know. I've never been down. I have never been to Chicago. I don't know if Hesh, you ever been to Chicago?
Flying through Chicago, but never through. I mean, we stopped in Chicago. We had a layover in Chicago.
Yeah, that's. I guess I have been. I landed at Midway Airport.
Me and my family went to Chicago when we were on our way up to Michigan to visit the uncle when I was a young man, young lad, maybe.
Well, you were a young lad, so that wasn't that long ago.
Well, I mean, like a smaller lad, I should say, around 8 years old, I guess.
Oh, okay. Because, nothing really else has come out of the Kansas City thing yet.
It's been pretty quiet. And that just was kind of when they talked about Donovan and Veach and Andy all getting raises, I'm going, and they lost the vote for the stadiums?
George Brett came out and said that he wants to see the Royals and Chiefs just separate. Go make your own deals instead of being tied to the hip.
And I think that's going to happen. Myself, I think it's time.
Well, I saw an interesting kind of in a similar vein, and obviously the Royals and Chiefs don't share a stadium anymore, but just how common a shared dual-purpose stadium used to be for baseball and football, and now I don't believe there's going to be any left, any dual-purpose ones still in use after, I think it was 2020 was last time. One of them was
Oakland,
still...
when the Raiders were still there, and then the mausoleum.
But I'll tell you what, the sports complex looked pretty good when I was down there over the weekend. It's still, it was looking a little bit older last time I was there, but this last time, I thought it looked pretty good.
Oh, yeah. It's nice to park. I'd rather
still
go
an
out there.
Iconic venue.
Doesn't really... Oh, and the World Cup's coming there this year, too, as they tear out all those seats and everything. So that's what the Chiefs wanted that money for, was to pay for the World Cup. It was coming in there. Okay, one more show this week. That is tomorrow here on Sports Day.